Thokozani Royals, Hotep family. Let's give it a few moments. Thokozani family, Thokozani Royals, how is everybody doing? Thokozani. I see Jimmy Fang. Jimmy, this is not a live for you. Please kindly make your way off my page. Thank you very much. Thokozani Royals, Thokozani Bagwantu, Thokozani family ninjani. I hope niyaphila. Asilindeni lo mlisa ahambe. Bese siyakhuluma indaba zethu. Sikhuluma indaba zethu. Thokozani family. Hope you are all well. I see you are feeling. There go those. What do we call them? The hearts. So audio is great. Audio is good. So greetings. Please keep tapping the screen, family. Let's just get a good number of people here. Then I'm going to go straight into our teaching. So I have plenty other, let me not say important teachings to do, because I think every lesson is very important, particularly because there's a lot of knowledge that's been hidden from our community. And as a result of that ignorance, we are basing some of our opinions and some of our actions on false information, basically. Remember that there is a lot that's been hidden, there's a lot that's been adulterated, and there's a lot that's been destroyed in terms of our knowledge. And so while it may appear to some as not important, it becomes very important for us to talk about practically everything that has to do with us as a way to keep ourselves grounded in knowledge, so that we live intelligently, number one, and secondly, so that whatever choices we make, they are informed choices that are based on knowledge. So please keep tapping the screen. Let's get more people in here, and then we can definitely get started. Who can I make a moderator here? I need a moderator urgently, because I'm going to need a moderator. Who's offering to moderate for me? Just say, hey, I'll moderate. Thokozani family, how's everyone doing? How's your day been? I know that in the Northern Hemisphere, it is evening, our end. I know that in South Africa, it is very early morning. If there are any South Africans awake, I don't know why they are awake. But then again, you know, there are a lot of people in the Southern Hemisphere who really don't sleep. I'm always surprised at how many people I get on these lives who are in the diaspora, and it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, or 4 or 5, and they're already awake. I see you, I see people. So family, shall we get started on the topic? I wanted us to talk about the origin of wigs, hair pieces, and makeup. Let me see a flash of hearts if you think that's a good topic and if you really want to know the truth, because I'll tell you why. As melanated queens, we get a lot of insults from all quarters about how we choose to wear our hair, right? We get a lot of insults. I, for one, have gotten a lot of what I call backhanded compliments, where somebody will say, your content is great, you're very knowledgeable, but can you do away with what is it the guy said? He said, can you please do away with the hair hat, meaning the wig. And I found that so funny. And the reason I can laugh at things like that and I don't feel offended most times is because ignorance. I see and smell ignorance in comments like that. We've also gotten those kind of comments or insults thrown at us from the other ethnicities from around the world who will say things like, well, if black women are so great and the hair so great, why are they wearing hair pieces? And I'm like, okay, again, ignorance. Ignorance, of course, that is tinged with a lot of disrespect. Somehow that is supposed to make us feel some type of way. Well, I thought that today, I know you're saying ignore it, but I don't believe in ignoring when I have knowledge. You see, great queen, I have the knowledge I'm about to impart to you so I can empower you, sisters. So that when somebody steps to you and starts talking about, I don't like black women who wear wigs. If you're so anti-Western civilization, why is your hair like theirs? And I laugh because, again, ignorance. Let me tell you something. There is nothing new under the sun, and there is nothing new in the West that hasn't already existed on the African continent. Why do I say that? The first documented use of wigs and hairpieces is 3400 BCE, before Common Era, in ancient Kemet. The first wig makers were melanated queens. Now, you say, huh? What? Yes, facts, documented facts. And if you go to YouTube where I'm going to post this video, I'm going to have pictures showing you this evidence that has been found all over ancient Kemet, what is now called Egypt, right? The first wig makers were melanated queens. Now, I want you to also understand that wigs or hair pieces were worn by both men and women. And you say, why? Number one, the ancient Kemetic people, ancient Africans, believed in cleanliness. And because of the heat that is on the continent, most times people shaved their heads. So they shaved their heads because, number one, the heat, and in fact, body hair. So all these people who go around saying, oh, it is natural to just keep your body hair. Well, good and well and good. But it's just okay as well if as a man or a woman, you don't like body hair and you shave your armpits and you shave your pubes and you shave your head, because ancient Africans did this. Number one, lice. They did not want lice. So they would shave all body hair, including the hair on their head. And they would make wigs. What did they make wigs out of? There is a plant on the continent called the sisal plant. It's like a big cactus which, when you process, removes or creates these fibers that are commonly used to make baskets, right? Very thin fibers that if they are processed, if you brush it out, it looks like frizzy hair. Sisal was used. Cotton threads, and I don't mean the cotton threads that they wove to make clothes. It was a different kind of weaving that was used to make hair. They would use horse mane to create hair pieces and hair. The first weave, you know, the weft, was created in ancient Kemet, and they would use wax, beeswax, to stick these tracks onto bald scalp. Are you hearing me? I'm going to show you all the evidence so that you know that I'm not here just making things up. Neither am I here to justify why I wear wigs. We will get to my conclusion later because I'm about to jump down somebody's throat. Because there's certain things that I think we need to also start putting some boundaries in place for ourselves as a people so that we understand what respect and Ubuntu actually means. So that's number one. So I've told you the origins of wigs and hairpieces. Ancient Kemetians also liked to wear hairpieces for ceremonies. For example, if they were paying homage to Neptet, or paying homage to Heteru or to Auset, depending on the season of the month, the pharaohs, and remember, these things were worn by royals. So the pharaohs, queens, people in high society, priestesses and priests of ancient Africa, ancient Kemet, they would wear these things in ceremony because it was believed, or they believed, that it pleased the gods to always look clean. Hence, enter makeup. Makeup is 6,000 BCE, is what is documented. Archaeologists have found pallets of makeup and kohl, which is a black powder which was used to line the eyes. They used turquoise and aquamarine ground into fine powder to make blue eyeshadow. And I want to tell you something. Both men and women wore makeup. Many would paint the eye of Horus over one of their eyes. I think there's the eye of Horus and then there's the other eye. So depending on who they were trying to connect with at which time, they would use their own eye and then paint that little thing over there, whatever it was, and then put blue eyeshadow. Both men and women were wearing makeup. The women would use ochre, which is like a clay, which is a reddish clay. They would use that on their face, or they would use a sort of white clay that exists, that would be gotten off of quarries, like a limestone. They would use that powder as sunscreen to protect their skin. They would use animal fats and oils to make fragrances to perfume their bodies. They were using frankincense. They were using sandalwood. They were using myrrh to fragrance their bodies. They were alchemists. They could extract the smell from roses and plants like that to make fragrances that they used to perfume their bodies after they bathed. And they taught the Europeans that. They taught the Westerners that. Because them people didn't bathe. Y'all know that. Because if you go to Spain and you go to Italy right now, there are places where you can see murals of who they called the Moors, Moors, showing them how to bathe and creating baths and plumbing. So why I'm here to share this important information with you guys is we need to start respecting one another as Bagwantu. If I rock up, and by the way, I don't do human hair. It is not advisable to do human hair. I've told you guys about destiny swapping. I've told you guys about how a lot of the so-called human hair, again, I'm going to put a little video perhaps at the end of this one to show you where it's gotten and how it's gotten. Most of this hair is hair that is given at temples as a sacrifice of someone who's asking for good fortune, and they leave their hair there. This is the hair that's then collected, processed, and sent where? To where? To the greatest reservoir of fortune, which is melanated beings. The other thing is, you wear somebody else's DNA on your crown, and then you wonder why your ancestors, you're not hearing them, and you and your ancestors can't dock and can't meet. You've got someone else's imprint. We're still It's not one person's, because when all this hair is collected and it's all processed from different temples or whatever, it's just a mishmash of DNA from whoever. Guys? So, again, note what was used to create wigs in ancient Kemet, and that is the stuff some of us wear unapologetically so. I get bored with the same hairstyle all the time. I really do. I have locks under here that I could really rock, but then I get bored after a while. I'm like, okay, what's next? Maybe next time you see me, I'll have woken up and I'll have a big old afro on my head. It's my prerogative what I choose to wear. And so coming on my work, and instead of listening to the message, you're busy judging what the messenger looks like. What's wrong with you? Take the message that I bring to you. I'm a messenger, and that's it. Even if I came in sackcloth and ashes, even if I came with a bonnet or I covered my face and spoke to you from behind my shawl, it's the message you should be hearing and not concerning with yourself with my appearance. Are you really that shallow and mediocre? Because you're displaying your vast ignorance when you do that. And we should know better. We should know better than that. So I did this because I figured, you know what? Rather than just, say to somebody, F off with that nonsense. Let me teach. Let me take it as a teaching moment so that you really understand the origins of these things, and also understand that makeup only became gendered when Westerners took it over, and they decided that, no, this was going to be how women are supposed to look in the 1800s. That is why if you go onto the continent right now, if you go from ethnic group to ethnic group, you will find young men who do make up their faces and who do put kohl, especially in Northern Africa. Let's talk about South Sudan for a minute. There's certain groups there that do that. I'm going to put a little video so that you can see them. And they will line their lips and put what appears to be lipstick red. And you see their beautiful bright teeth against that. And they will decorate their hair and they will decorate their bodies. In ancient Kemet, women used to decorate their hands with henna. So did the men. Pharaohs and queens and high society people. So education is very important, family. So before you open your mouth to say something to someone, sit back. There's so much that is yours that you've been fooled into believing that it's not yours. Look at the Fendi designs. Look at the Christian Dior's. If you go on the walls of ancient Kemet, a lot of these logos and symbols are there. The emojis that we're using over here, if you go to ancient Kemet, there are walls with all these emojis. The Wi-Fi symbol is there. Now the question becomes, did Wi-Fi exist? I say there's nothing new under the sun. And you all think the Wi-Fi symbol came with, I don't know who brought Wi-Fi, is it Microsoft, whoever it is. Maybe I should do something on symbols. See, you see? You inspire me to bring more teachings, because I did a teaching on symbols, but it was just Kemetic symbols. But I want to take all the symbols all the Western symbols that you believe are Western symbols, and I will show you the equivalent in ancient Kemet, in the hieroglyphs or in Medjugorje. It's all part of the spell work that they do, using what is ours against us. And then everybody turns around and says, melanated beings invented and created nothing. Really? Wigs are yours, Ndlovukazi. Rock your hair pieces, man. Enjoy. We were flamboyant like that. We like to look good like that. Makeup is all yours. Rock it if you like. And if, as a brother, you don't like a woman who wears wigs or a woman who has makeup, let that be a personal preference, not because you believe that she's trying to copy white people, because that is false. Have a preference if you like and say, okay, you know what? I like my women natural good, but we like to look like ancient kings and queens. So we like to rock our hair pieces and we like our makeup. So go have at it with the sisters who like their locks, who like their big afros, and who don't want makeup and who want Vaseline on their lips. Okay? It's a preference thing. Same way that I prefer some type of a brother and not another. That's just a preference thing. Not saying there's anything wrong with the other. I just don't prefer it. Doesn't make me, Let those be the reasons. But don't for a minute allow the brainwashing that has happened to you to then have you go around disrespecting women who know who they are. I fully embody my ancient self. Matter of fact, let me not talk. I may say too much. Let me tell you else. As a Sangoma, we have hair pieces that look like wigs when we are in ceremony. I'm going to post that here. The Mdao water spirit has a red, it's like a red wig that they wear when they are in ceremony or when they are performing certain rituals. I carry a Mdao spirit. I carry the Makosi spirit. It looks like woven, and it actually looks like something. You know the ancient Kemet sort of like hair piece that looks like braids coming down and it's then cut like in a bob like this? Yeah, we have those. Why? Because they've existed for time immemorial, and we rock those hair pieces as spiritualists. That's how sometimes you can identify who's who. Now, we don't rock those on the street because they're quite something. They're full of, most of them are covered in beads, tiny little beads. But nothing prevents me from doing so if I wanted to. However, in ceremony, we wear those. Like I've explained to you, wigs and hair pieces were worn in ceremony to the gods and the goddesses to make ourselves look pleasing, to show respect when we came before them. That is exactly what we do in the Sangoma space. And when we are in ceremony, we rock these pieces to show respect and to represent these ancestors and great spirits we work with properly. So ignorance is a terrible thing. And in this day and age, there's no need for ignorance, And worse for us as melanated beings when it becomes an issue that further divides us. I like my natural women. I'm as natural as the next woman, but I just happen to like hair pieces and I happen to like makeup. What's so unnatural about that? My sister over here prefers her skin without anything on it. She just likes good. That's her preference. Because we're not going to start changing who we are to pander to you. Find your preference among the women who already are there, who are being themselves. We're not changing, and neither should you expect us to become what we're not to please you. We didn't come on this planet to please you. We came on this planet to fulfill our own personal missions, which add to the collective mission. So please, And if you really don't have anything good to say, just sometimes it's good to just, it's okay. You won't lose anything by being quiet. You really won't. But when you open your mouth in ignorance, you can lose a lot, including your dignity as a man. So don't do that. Don't do that. Right? Leave us alone. Leave women doing women. And you're all busy criticizing women up and down. Go get yourselves right. There's a lot that you need to get right. And stop worrying about what we put on our faces, what we put on our heads, and so on and so forth. Aibo is enough. We will do us. The era of women pandering to men. And the thing is, if we listened to half the stuff you guys have to say, the world would be lost already. So we're not doing that. And you will respect us. Ne? I hope I have made myself very clear on this. I'm going to say Thokozani. I'm going to say Thokozani. I'm going to say the full video will be uploaded with pictures, little video clips and all, just to make it totally complete. Because I know some of y'all are busy sitting there saying, where the proof? Where the proof? Where the proof? I never come here without receipts. So go on and wait. Give me maybe a couple of hours. The video will be up and you can go and enjoy yourselves. In the meantime, I say I love you, my black family. Sometimes I spit fire at you, but it's because I love you. And it's because I want us to come right, you know. There's a war going on out there. We don't need to be fighting each other over mediocre stuff, really. So I figured, let me solve this mediocre conundrum once so that we can move on to more important issues that we are facing as a community. And maybe, you know, by resolving some of these issues that really tear us apart, maybe then we can really unite authentically so we can face the real enemy out there. Yeah? Masithokozeni. Good night.